Well, hi. Everyone knows that a royal commission is needed. The current Prime Minister, before becoming Prime Minister, promised in his election campaign to have a royal commission. After he got in, he reneged. What's more, the manager of government business for the Labor Party in the Senate, Senator Katie Gallagher, as chair of an inquiry under the Morrison government, recommended having a royal commission. Instead, what we've got is a Labor whitewash, and the public and the Senate are incensed about that. As a result of the change in sentiment now in the public around Australia, they're disgusted with what the Prime Minister has done, going back on his promise. I was successful in moving a motion, sending an inquiry to a Senate committee to develop the terms of reference for a future Royal Commission. I've got two outstanding gentlemen with me who have been involved in making a hell of a submission, Julian Gillespie, a former barrister, and Professor Ian Brighthope. And I'll hand over to them so that they can get on with it.
Thank you very much, Senator Roberts, and thank you for getting the vote up for this committee. It's called the Legal and Constitutional Affairs Reference Committee, giving them instructions to inquire into what are the appropriate terms of reference for a COVID-19 Royal Commission, should we finally get the further political numbers to get an Act of Parliament passed, empowering the Commission that all Australians need to see. Now, the only problem with the vote getting up is that they scheduled the return of submissions to be 12 January, and we're clearly still in the Christmas holiday New Year period that Australians enjoy with their families. And so our team took it upon itself to begin 60 days ago consulting Australia's leading academics and practical scientists and doctors as to what are the appropriate terms of reference that Australians need to see if we're going to have a real Royal Commission. Just so you know, our Prime Minister, Tony Albanese, is scared stiff, quite frankly, of the prospects of this Royal Commission actually running. And hot on the heels of Senator Roberts getting this vote up for this committee to perform its role in considering terms of reference, our good Prime Minister essentially tapped on the shoulder 160 other Commonwealth and state departments, ordering them to put in submissions to this same committee. Now, this is clearly an attempt to overwhelm the committee with just a bunch of paper of self-serving bureaucrats. Which bureaucrat for any one of those 160 departments is going to say, oh, you should properly cross-examine us because we did a rubbish job? No, this is all about trying to put lipstick on a pig. Now, if I can just share the screen for a moment to show you where we got to. We now have all of these organizations that you see here who have come together in support of the document that I helped create with Peter Pham and lawyer Katie Ashby-Copens. Now, this is a tremendous coming together of organizations, and here's the document in question. Now, very kindly, the Australian Medical Professional Society has set up this landing page where all Australians can go and review these terms of reference for a COVID-19 Royal Commission, and they can see just from page 2, an ensemble of Australia's elite when it comes to science and medicine have all come together as co-authors here. We've got 42 names of people who have been working tirelessly over the last 60 days to produce an extensive 107-page document, which leaves, quite frankly, no stone unturned when it comes to the mismanagement by Australian governments, Commonwealth, state and territory of the COVID-19 phenomenon. Moreover, these terms of reference tend to suggest, and this is what a Royal Commission needs to conclude, that Australian governments got it all wrong, and we need to hear a definitive statement from an impartial body, being a Royal Commission, properly empowered, as to was that the case, so we don't repeat this history ever again. So at this point, I'd like to hand over to Professor Ian Brighthope, who has thankfully come on board with several organizations that he's associated with here. There are more organizations coming on. We need Australians to come on, consider the terms of reference and then become co-signatories so we can send a powerful message to the members on the committee that these are the terms of reference Australians need to have. Put it clearly, Australians want a royal commission created by Australians, not a royal commission created by the public servants it is meant to examine. That figure of 14,000 is incorrect. We now, as of a few moments ago, have over 17,000 signatures and we only have 3.5 days left. Please go to AMP's Red Union, look for campaigns up in the top right-hand corner, and you will see the link to this landing page. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julian. Just very briefly for the audience, and thank you, Senator Malcolm Roberts, for trying to pull this Royal Commission together. I wish you every success, and I'm sure you will be successful because it's such a need for an inquiry, a high-level inquiry into the pandemic and its management. My name is Ian Brighthope. I have a background in science, a background in orthodox medicine, and also 40 years of teaching and research in nutritional medicine, environmental medicine, and other aspects of proper health care. The management of this pandemic has been a disaster from the start. First of all, there was no early prevention or early treatment for people who got the virus in the first 18 months. There was no attempt to direct the population and the doctors in the population to actually prescribe prevention and early treatment approaches to a virus that for the majority of people was only going to be either a mild cold or a mild form of influenza or an asymptomatic infection. So right from the start, we attempted through my organisations, medical organisations, to get the Prime Minister, the Health Minister and the Chief Medical Officer to actually execute a proper prevention and treatment program where we had the science to actually prove that the use of substances like vitamin D and zinc could boost up the immune system and prevent infection. No, what happened, we had lockdowns, which were economically a disaster. We had masks that don't work. We had social distancing. We had separation. We had a whole range of psychological problems emanating that were not dealt with properly. And also the medical system started to collapse. And as a result of that, we have problems now with people who are suffering from vaccination reactions. And there is also this extreme, unexplained, so-called unexplained increase in death rate. And this death rate is occurring in young adults, and it, in my opinion, is definitely related to the vaccinations, the experimental mRNA vaccinations that are contaminated with DNA from the manufacturing process. So this experiment on mankind is something that needs to be investigated thoroughly because we do not want to repeat this again. So I plead everybody who hears this, support the senators who want this inquiry, support the medical organisations, AMPS, the ACNIM, the College of Nutritional and Environmental Medicine, NIM, the National Institute of Integrative Medicine, AIMA, the Australasian Integrative Medical Association. All of these are now doctors coming out and wanting to see further inquiries into this so that we never ever have to experience such a disaster in the future. And let me tell you that there are going to be viruses that come out that are going to be dangerous. But if we boost up the population's immune system, we don't need to wait for experimental vaccines. So please support, sign the documents for us and get behind the Royal Commission that is being called for. Support the senators, support Senator Malcolm Roberts, who's been at the forefront of trying to do something about this mismanagement ever since it started. We are suffering economically as a consequence of the mismanagement. One of our economists in the early stages of the rollout of the vaccines stated that we had spent something like $500 billion or wasted $500 billion. That's $500 billion wasted. The interest on that is being paid and the damage done to our economy is unbelievable, in my opinion. And watching businesses shut down, people dying unnecessarily, relatives falling apart from one another. All of these things were absolutely unnecessary if we just boosted up the immune system, the population, right from the beginning of this pandemic. It was a coronavirus, and a coronavirus, we know, can be prevented with high doses of vitamin D, sunlight vitamin, and zinc. And there are other medications that can be used in early treatment. These were all denied our population, and we need to know why. We need to find out exactly what the decisions were and how those decisions were made. And I will not rest until I see that happen. So please support the Royal Commission.
Thank you very much, Professor. Julian, before we end the video, you're inviting people to co-sign your submission, which I've seen and is incredible. It is a stunning body of work. It is a huge body of work, and it's right on target. So you're inviting people to co-sign that to give it more leverage. Is it also appropriate for people to put in their own personal submission in addition to or instead of co-signing, giving their personal story and even if it's just half a page, their business story, what's happened to their business, their lived experience, and if they want, they can submit it as confidential?
Absolutely, absolutely, and absolutely. So we implore all Australians to, first of all, consider our terms of reference to see that all the technical issues have been covered. All the doctors have come in and said that they'll present themselves as experts to this committee, and ultimately a Royal Commission should it get up and running as it needs to. But yes, everybody has their personal experience that must be presented to this committee to show the human side of the suffering that Australians effectively did experience. As Professor Brightope mentioned, the damage was extraordinary. Professor Gigi Foster, in an interview only yesterday, has been able to confirm with an extensive team of international professors in economics that the Australian lockdowns increased deaths and mortality somewhere in the area of 30 to 35 times in Australia because of the lockdowns, which were unneeded right from the get-go. And so there's a trail of devastation and destruction, and people need to express, put it on paper and put it under the eyes of the senators of this committee to see that we need an Australian Royal Commission, not a Royal Commission crafted by the bureaucrats who need to be examined. So yes, yeah.
Thank you, Julian. Now, can you just remind everyone what the title of the inquiry and the committee is, so that people know where to go and how to get to that page to make their own submission? Then the submission can be as short as half a page, just your lived experience.
I will just bring up for you the actual page, which might be a moment, for the Legal and Constitutional Affairs Committee. If I can just quickly share the
Legal
screen
and
again.
Constitutional Affairs Committee.
So people know exactly what it looks like. So it's the COVID-19 Royal Commission. This is the Australian Parliament website for the Senate Legal and Constitutional Affairs Committee. That's the landing page, and you'll see over to the right, upload submission. So it's simply a matter of drafting up whatever length of submission that you wish, because there's no ridiculous limit like we see with the whitewash PM's inquiry, where everyone was limited to 3 pages. You simply go to this page, you register, there's no issues there, and then you can upload your document. That must be done this coming Friday, the 12th of January. So you can be a co-signature on the extensive document that we will be submitting this Friday, and you can also place in your own submissions to describe your human experience of being locked down for several years due to erratic decisions coming out of government, which really seem to have been assisting shareholders in Big Pharma more than the health and well-being of the Australian community.
So let's wrap it up there and get this out. I know that it's appropriate to say that people, regardless of their beliefs on COVID, want a Royal Commission, whether they've been injected, coerced into injection, forced into an injection, taken it voluntarily, whether they've refused to have it. People are coming up to me everywhere I go and saying we need a Royal Commission. So thank you so much, both of you. The amount of work that you guys have done over the last 2-3 years is phenomenal. What you've done in the last 100 days is absolutely outstanding. So thank you so much. Please support by co-signing, everyone, or making your own submission, or doing both.
Thank you, Senator.